What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning on in. Tobin here with you. Thank you for checking us out. If you like the radio show, we were back today from vacation. Put that up on 7 Night Tickets YouTube page. Go to youtube.com/theticketmiami. That is where you can check us out as we are reacting to all things free agency. A lot of reactions to the Kevin Durant news, 3-team deal possibilities, all that type of stuff. Go check it out at The Ticket Miami. Over here, we've been doing a lot of talking as I've been on vacation, been off in the middle of nowhere. But one thing I got dead wrong was Victor Oladipo. Victor Oladipo was talking about this yesterday. It very much seemed like he was hinting at an exit from the Miami Heat, was getting all cryptic on Twitter, was putting lone wolves, Willy Wonka memes, all that type of stuff. And with all the craziness that was yesterday with Kevin Durant and the trade demands to the Miami Heat, the first tweet that I saw, I feel like a lot of people saw, but the first tweet that I saw in the free agent frenzy was Victor Oladipo returning to the Miami Heat on an $11 million deal. He is coming back for on a one-year deal. And I was surprised, man. I laid out the reasons yesterday that I just figured Victor Oladipo wanted to go to a situation where he was kind of guaranteed. I guess nobody's guaranteed things, but guaranteed a bigger role, a substantial role. And I didn't think that was necessarily going to be the case here in Miami. Well, it's kind of not a Miami thing that they guarantee roles like that. And especially for a guy like him where he's still working your way back. He's about to go in his first real offseason. But definitely, you had to love what the progress was as it seemed like he was getting healthier, was able to play more minutes. What he was able to do on the ball and defense during the playoffs was tremendous, and certainly looks like you're hoping that an offseason gets him back into a more of an offensive rhythm. But I was pretty surprised that the first deal that we saw was Victor Oladipo coming back to the Miami Heat at $11 million. And it makes you wonder, is this just a straight up, hey, we want Victor Oladipo back, no questions asked, or does it signal they think that they're going to have to part with Tyler Hero? Because that would be the easiest way, I feel like, for Victor Oladipo to get substantial playing time, is if there is no Tyler Hero in the picture for the Miami Heat. It's not necessarily like if Tyler ends up playing or starting, I should say. If Tyler ends up starting, then we could be in a situation where, Vic's the first guy off the bench or vice versa. But Tyler has made it clear that he does want to start. And you wonder if that's going to happen with the Miami Heat, what the extension situation is going to be. We're seeing rookie extensions getting thrown out there. Zion Williamson today signed one for up to $231 million. And you have to wonder, like with Tyler Hero thinking to himself, like, man, if I would have been a starter, would it even be a question if I would have gotten a max extension and things like that? So a lot of this stuff is fascinating. It's like you look at the deals that the Heat are making, and we got conclusions to a few things yesterday. Vic signs. Dewayne Dedmon came back on a 2-year deal. PJ Tucker, we'll get into him in just a second, but he leaves on a 3-year deal to the Philadelphia 76ers, which was heavily reported. And seems like that was kind of the case all along. Sure, there won't be any tampering investigations on the Sixers like there were for the Heat with Kyle Lowry. So now the only guy who's really left, UD obviously is going to come back for another year, I would think. I would be shocked if he doesn't. They sent this whole Heat contingent there. I feel like he's going to come back for that one last hurrah with Miami. And then Caleb Martin is still something that needs to be resolved, but that's about it as far as the guys that were on the roster last year. Duncan under contract, Max Strus, Gabe Vincent, Tyler Hero, the whole rest of the crew, a lot of them is pretty much decided. So, they got to figure out what they're going to do with that power forward spot and all that with PJ being gone. But with Vic being back, you do have to wonder whether or not there is a signal that they wanted to just have him because of his versatility, because he is super talented, that they do feel like he is on the right trajectory. This is a place where he's always wanted to be, and that you continue to make the investment in him. It's a talented player that you can bring in under the bird rights, and so why let him go? Or are they under the impression that there will be more playing time freed up because of a potential Kevin Durant move, a potential Donovan Mitchell move, something like that, where Tyler Hero will likely be in a trade package and they would see him be gone, and so Vic would either be at that starting 2 spot or would be that first scorer or dynamic playmaker off the bench for Miami in that spark plug role. So I'm happy he's back, though. Either way, whatever the situation is, Tyler Hero being back, Tyler Hero not being back, I'm happy that they brought back Victor Oladipo. I love his story. I love that he has this vision of what he's going to be and get himself back to. And so I'm stoked that he's back, dude. I love that. He brings at Home Depot, you got the clamps at aisle 4. Dude goes and he locks it up. We show that he still has that ability to get to the free throw line. Sure, definitely needs to get some of the offensive touch back and the feel back, but I think that's going to come, man. I really, really do. A guy that I don't think we see a lot of players come back and need a little bit more time with these massive injuries. Klay Thompson didn't quite look himself this year. Other players don't quite look themselves that first year back, but you get your feet wet this year, getting back on the hardwood, plus the rehab and phase being over, and you can really just focus on your basketball skill set going into this. I'm happy that Victor Oladipo's back. I'm glad that this is a move that they made. As far as PJ Tucker's concerned, I'm bummed that he's gone, for the simple fact of I just loved watching the guy play basketball for the Miami Heat. I thought that he was a dog. I thought that played his ass off. Thought that they opened up a lot of things versatility-wise with him. He wasn't just a guy sitting in the corner and shooting threes. Like, he was hitting with that shot-put floater that was always money, facilitating a lot, monster screen setter, tenacious defender, ultimate intensity. But I also do get the concerns. Like, he is 37 years old, going to be 38 before the playoffs. He did basically wear down by the end of it, and he doesn't like taking time off. Like, all this idea of, you're going to put him on a management pitch count. It's not what he goes for. It's not how he goes. It's not the code he plays the game by. And I think the Heat were like, well, is this guy going to be open to, hey, would you take a Tuesday against the Kings off or a Wednesday against the Pistons off? Or is this going to be you're going to play at 70% and by the playoffs you're going to be worn down to 60% and maybe by the end of it you're just not able to go? Or would you be more accepting of taking some days off here and there? And then you talk about the thing with the NBA that sucks is you have all these rules, right? Where it's like Victor Oladipo can come back at 11 million, you're not hard capped, but PJ Tucker, if you give him the exception, you're hard capped. It's all very weird. Like, there's new rules that pop up every day. I had no idea that this Bam Adebayo thing was a rule until last night when the Kevin Durant stuff was coming up, where it's like you can't have Bam Adebayo and Ben Simmons on the same deal. Maybe there are some cap nerds. I know there's a few of them out there on Twitter who know these, but I think that like even the fan that's into the weeds of all this stuff doesn't know all of the NBA cap rules. Like, they're all a little bit confounded, and so it's like, well, if they want to trade Bam Adebayo for Kevin Durant, then they have to find a third team to take Bam Adebayo, or they have to take back Ben Simmons in the deal. Which, by the way, a point I want to make of this for a couple things. One, I don't think Kevin Durant wants to come to the Miami Heat unless Bam Adebayo is on the roster. I think it's a big reason why the Heat are on the list. I'm also not into trading Bam Adebayo even in a 3-team deal. I do think for the Miami Heat, I do want something to be of the Miami Heat that has been built through and through, that once they win this championship, like, you're like, yes, this guy's homegrown all the way. I'm for it. And it feels like he's the perfect fit for all that type of stuff. Jimmy Butler, obviously you want to do whatever you can to go and win him a ring, especially with how ballsy he's played in 2 of the 3 playoffs that he's gotten the Heat to. So I get that, and the idea that Riley says that he wants to finish this build before he hangs it up and kicks reporters' asses in push-up contests. He wants to finish this build, and I think that this build means he wants to win a ring for Jimmy Butler. I don't think that they want it to come at the expense of a Bam Adebayo. I think they'd be a little bit more open to a Tyler Hero, because I think Tyler Hero, in a lot of ways, has been great in accepting everything that Heat culture has asked of him, but I do think that he wants to spread his wings a little bit more, that maybe beyond this. So I think that's why they're more open to that than they are to a guy like Bam, who's going to be 25 this month, unselfish, one of the best defenders, if not the best defender in the league, and still has the talent to give you, 25 and 10s from time to time. Has basically been a 20 and 9 guy, 20 and 10 guy the last few seasons. So he is, I get their hesitancy to give him up, and I'm hesitant to give him up too. You guys know that I'm a huge fan of him. And I don't really even see the point in bringing in KD if you don't have all the pieces to contend. Because I feel like Jimmy, Bam, KD, title contender. Jimmy and KD with having to work around not having Bam, are you a title contender? I don't know. I saw some of the arguments this morning on ESPN Plus where they're like, oh, no, Lowry and Tyler Hero and Kevin Durant. It's like, well, is Jimmy the only one playing defense on this team because PJ Tucker's not here anymore? I know KD is got some talents defensively, but not what he was in the Warriors days, I think. I think that the Achilles injury has certainly slowed some things up. So those are some things that are very interesting. But the other side of that, even with the Bam Adebayo thing and my hesitancy to give him up, the Ben Simmons dynamic of this, like, where they're just like, oh, you could put him in a 3-team deal here and a 3-team deal here and a 3-team deal here. Who the hell is trading for Ben Simmons? Like, who is the team that's just like, sign me up for a guy who makes all the money in the world, has a injured back, and also has been dealing with some mental shakiness with playing the game of basketball, shooting the basketball, dealing with pressure situations. Sign me up for that, dude. I right here, like, the Nets got Ben Simmons in like a scenario of like, you take a flyer on it, and then they got him there and he wasn't ready to play in the James Harden deal. So they basically got nothing for James Harden so far. And that was, in a way, like, you're thinking to yourself, all right, well, we're getting a guy who is talented and a great defender and a great passer, great rebounder, basically everything that doesn't involve offense. That doesn't involve him scoring a basketball. You feel really good about his skill set, and that's great in theory, but now you're looking at a standpoint where we're going on to year 2 since he has played a basketball game that meant something, because he didn't play all of last year, sat it out, and I think that's not going to be as easy to flip to a third team as people just think. Like, I would be super careful if I was a franchise being like, oh yeah, sign me up for bringing in Ben Simmons. Like, and Ben Simmons who's on a long-term deal, like, not Ben Simmons who's got like 1 year left. Let's try it on a flyer. Let's see how it works. Contract year Ben Simmons. Okay, I can see that being something where people would be into it. Ben Simmons with what, like 3 years left on his deal? Like, I don't know. I think that's a dicey ask, and I think the Nets know that they're in a tough situation there as far as what teams will fit. Maybe they just end up holding on to Kevin Durant. There's also been reports out there that the Heat have put offers out for Donovan Mitchell and even Fat Joe. There was a report that Fat Joe has said Donovan Mitchell, his dream is to play for Miami, not New York. And you had this Fat Joe who was trying to backtrack off that. But no, Fat Joe, you said what you said. You own it. All right, dude? The damage is done. You're not leaning back on this one because we're all the way up. And I'm telling you right now, Spider Mitchell and those Heat rumors, it smells like smoke. I don't know about you, but it smells like smoke. And you know what they say about when you smell smoke? That's right. Smokey the Bear said that. Only you can prevent free agent fires. So anyway, Harpoon season is upon us, ladies and gentlemen. It's all very, very fun. These are fun things to go through and cut through and deal with. I'm enjoying the holy hell out of it. I almost like the chase more than I like getting the player. I am addicted to this stuff, and I don't plan on stopping.